I left my notes back over there. Maxine, I'm glad you called me a miracle boy. We've indeed had some moments when I think she and I really felt that we were in God's will. And it's not something, it's not a feeling you get every day. You know, in life, I think there are only a few times when you really believe that you're making a difference. In 2000, one of my staffers walked in and said, "There's a gentleman out in the office that would like to talk to you." And he has been fasting for 47 days. And he looks like he's almost dead. So it really came down to me talking to him or him dying in my office. After we talked for a few minutes, he asked me if I would fast for one day. Now, how do you look into the eyes of someone that's been fasting for 47 days and tell them you can't do it? But it really, Jubilee, the Bread for the World people, really, I knew nothing about that really. I did know that there were people in the world who were starving, but it was more of a facts and figures. I really didn't think I could do anything about it. I didn't think that we could do anything about it. I thought debt relief, when Bread for the World invited me to a dinner for debt relief, we were working on the bankruptcy bill. I thought it had something to do with the bankruptcy bill. That's how much I knew about debt relief. What David did in 2000, what many of y'all did, which I think shine a light, you know, wake us up. And as opposed to just passing on the other side, in the story of the Good Samaritan, we were really confronted with having to make a choice. And that choice was a choice, really life or death, for people all over the world. And I think we were confronted with what our choice would mean. You know, Reverend Duncan is a little older, he's a little weaker than he was in 2000. But because of him, and I think it's a picture of contrast, because of his weakness, there are little boys and little girls today that are a lot stronger. His weakness and his infirmity they fed on that. It's given them strength. You know, yesterday, because of his sacrifice, because of his willingness to do without, there were little girls and little boys that got up and went to school. Many of them would not even be alive today if it were not for your efforts. You know, you say 6% of poverty has been reduced by 6% in sub-Saharan Africa. What that really means is that there are over 1 million children alive today that would have never survived their first birthdays or their fifth birthdays, or if they did, they would be crippled by disease. And today, they're healthy little boys and girls. They're looking forward to the future, and they're going to build a future in those countries that is going to not only benefit them, it's going to benefit us. You know, God has told us oftentimes that we can't give away enough. For everything you give, we get back. debt relief is a demonstration of His power and His love and His promise. I will have to admit that I knew the promises of God. I believed in God, but I did not really, even as I did it because I thought it was the right thing to do. But I could not have imagined in 2000 the difference that all of you have made, that Reverend Duncan has made. You know, when I told him I would fast, when I told him, you know, it was really to take care of an immediate problem, and that was getting him to leave my office. I really mean this. We sometimes say, we use the term thank God all the time, but thank God for Reverend God. We really, you know, you say, you know, one day as a Christian, and this is what I would like to do, and I don't speak for all religions, it's just wonderful that all the religions of the world, all the great religions of the world, preach really the same thing when it comes to debt relief. They're very consistent. But, you know, one of the things that many Christians say is they someday would like to look into the face of Christ. And I think we get a glimpse of that. When I look at Reverend Duncan, I feel as if I am looking into the face and character of God. Let me close by saying this. I sometimes quote Sister Rebecca Trujillo, who's a Catholic nun in Nicaragua, and she said, people are often asking, how do these people, how do they survive? How do they get through the debt? And she said, more often now I'm taken to saying, often they don't. Often they don't survive. Often they don't ever become a young man or a young woman. Think of the despair, think of the depression, think of the hopelessness that not only was in the world in 2000, and now we're seeing in certain areas hope come back, education, health care, but it really, the fact that we're seeing that, we're seeing what limited debt relief can do, and it was limited, ought to inspire us if we weren't, if we didn't really know, if we didn't have faith in 2000. Many of you did. But those who didn't, those who said it's idealism, it feels good, but it won't have any result. If they said that in 2000, how can they say that now? How can we? The successes of the past 6 years ought to inspire all of us to see what we can do. It says, please wrap it up. Thank you.